people, you can't abstain, but you don't have to abstain from approval of minutes if you weren't at the meeting, but
Okay.
it's up to you.
You guys are live.
Excellent.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Richard Niebuhr. I am the acting chair and the vice chair of the Appropriations Committee. Let's see, first we have this following announcement. The open meeting of the Appropriations Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, the town of Northborough has been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings. And as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible and physical location. All members of the Appropriations Committee are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely, along with all staff attending this meeting. The order allows the Appropriations Committee to meet entirely remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to the Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting tonight will not feature public comment. Now, members, when I read your name for our roll call, for those present, please answer in the affirmative. George Frankel.
Aye.
Bob D'Amico.
Aye.
Janice Height.
Aye.
Anthony Petit. Anthony Petit is not with us at this moment. And myself, acting chair, Richard Niebuhr. Aye. And also, staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Town Administrator John Kadir.
Present.
And we have our Assistant Town Administrator, Ms. Meekum, I believe, is running the show. So if she can say present or not, it's fine. All right, I guess she is off the air running our program.
Yeah, she's not participating in the meeting this evening. She's just hosting it for us.
So that being out of the way, I will call this evening's meeting of the Appropriations Committee to order. The first item on our list is to approve the minutes of April 1st of 2021. All those in favor of accepting the minutes of April 1st, 2021, please say so in the affirmative when I call your name. George Brinkle.
Aye.
Janice Height.
Aye.
Bob D'Amico.
Aye.
And myself, Rick Niebuhr. Aye. The motion is, all right, I didn't take a motion on it, did I? Do I have a motion?
You think you got ahead of yourself a little bit there. You need a motion in a second, but
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
And seconded.
Janice Height made a motion to approve the minutes and George made a motion, seconded the motion. Do I have any discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll take a roll call vote to approve the minutes. George Brinkle,
Aye.
Bob D'Amico,
Maybe I'll change my mind. No, aye.
Janice Height,
Aye.
and myself, Rick Niebuhr, aye. Motion has been made, seconded, and approved unanimously to accept the minutes of April 1st. Moving on, our major and the only item we have tonight is to review and the approval of the committee to report to town meeting. And we will be going over the town warrant articles, which everyone should have a copy of. We worked on this in the background and put all the comments together. If we have any further comments as this goes along, we can address them as we go. Yeah. Does anyone have any comments on the opening pages? That just gives us an overview of these articles before we go on.
I'm good.
Okay, seeing none, we'll move right on. Our first article before the committee is Article 4, which is the town budget.
I don't think we have to do that. We just need to make a motion to approve the report, right? Correct?
Yeah, you can, if through the chair, if I may. So what you have before you is the draft report. It's whatever the preference of the committee is. You can go page by page if there are comments or if folks, I know this was distributed at a time by the chair for your review. So if there are comments, we can work through the comments. If there are corrections, we can work through corrections. There's no right or wrong way to do this. So you can go page by page or just take comments in general if anybody has any changes that they'd like to see. Again, 90% of it is factual. I did, at the request of the chair, working with the finance director, we reviewed all of the budget numbers to make sure that just checking them for accuracy. So everything is in that regard is good. So it's just a matter of there's a typo or a comment or a change in anything that's represented. It's the same format of your report that you've used for the past, 5 years or so. So.
Okay, well, I don't mean to short circuit anything, Rick. So however you want to kind of.
I have no objection to going either way. I didn't want to make it seem like this is going to be a quick meeting. But that can certainly be done. I guess the best way to do it then, rather than go through all these articles, since we've all had this report ahead of time and a chance to read over it, are there any comments to be made on any of these articles?
I had none.
No, and I think all the questions have been asked and answered.
We will.
Do you need a motion, Rick?
Yes, so I'll take a motion then.
I move that the committee vote to approve the Appropriations Committee report to town meeting as drafted and to authorize the acting chair to work with the town administrator to make any edits necessary, provided that all formal votes are accurately reflected.
I'll second that.
Okay, George Brinkle made a motion to accept the draft town meeting warrant as written. Bob D'Amico is seconded. Do I have any comments?
If I may, through the chair,
Yes,
just I'm the one that worked a little bit of language in typical motion. It's the same motion we use with financial planning, just so people understand. It just allows that after the fact, if we find a typo or as we start to distribute it, like my intent is to give this report as part of the packet of information for the warrant going to the Board of Selectmen on Monday night. They'll be voting their recommendations on these articles, and their votes are built upon the work of the Financial Planning Committee and the Appropriations Committee. So I wanted to have that, but inevitably, and it's usually Leslie Boutin who has an eagle eye, she'll find a typo or something. So this just allows me with Rick's authorization just to make any non-substantive corrections to this before it ultimately goes to the printer, because we will have 500 copies available of the report, the warrant, and all the backup information for the May 1st town meeting, because we'll be outside, so there'll be no overhead projections or presentation. So everything really needs to be done in writing. So this just allows us, if there's a typo, to correct it. So just wanted to make sure people understood the point of that, since I did request that, as I always do. Otherwise, we'd have to reconvene a whole nother meeting just to fix a typo, which seems a little silly.
Okay, so we still have a motion that has been made and seconded on the floor. All those in favor of accepting the warrant as written, and for those at home, that is Articles 4 through 28 that we have previously all voted to recommend approval of. When I call your name, please answer in the affirmative. George Brinkle.
Aye.
Bob D'Amico.
Aye.
Janice Height.
Aye.
And myself, Rick Niebuhr. Aye. The motion was made, seconded, and approved unanimously to accept the warrant, the draft warrant as written. And now this will be formalized, but as John said, by the selectmen for any final edits. We will be allowed to make any further edits, but just as far as typos, nothing that will be substantial to this warrant that will change anything. And with that having been said and done, do we have any other business to come before the committee?
If I may, just
John.
to update you guys on a couple of things. At Monday's Selectmen's meeting, we're going to be receiving an update from Kristen Black, the health agent. She's going to be discussing the regional vaccination clinics that we were approved. I don't want to steal our thunder, but we're hopeful we're going to get our first load of vaccine and be able to run clinics hopefully within the next week, but she's going to give an update. But the real thing I wanted you to be aware of is we have submitted for a shared services grant through the state for health services. And so it's a $300,000 grant. She's going to be presenting that on Monday night. And essentially it's us working with neighboring communities to obtain some additional health services, public health nurse services, and food inspections and a few other things. So this is a grant that became available very quickly. We had I think we had 2 weeks notice before you had to submit. So we submitted, and Kristen's going to be giving an update on Monday to the board about more detail regarding that. But I wanted you to be aware of that grant, which is a positive thing, and we're optimistic that we're going to see some level of that grant funded. The other thing is there's a shared streets winter grant program. The DPW director is going to be reviewing. We received an award for that grant. He's going to be going over that on Monday as well. We also have submitted for a cybersecurity grant regionally with the town of Westboro and a couple of other neighboring communities. So there's a number of grants that are out there, and we're taking advantage of everything that we possibly can. But at Monday's Selectmen's meeting, there will be some presentations on a couple of the more recent ones that we either have submitted for or that we have received. So if you're interested, tune in Monday and you'll see those presentations. As of Monday's Selectmen's meeting, the warrant is done. Your report is complete. Financial Planning Committee's report is complete. We're going to be sending stuff to the printers. Monday, the selectmen will take votes regarding the budget warrant articles in terms of their recommendations at town meeting. And that pretty much wraps us up for town meeting. We've got, again, some documents and some budget documents that we're going to be putting out on the website. We're finishing up the overall 450 some odd page budget document with all the details. We're wrapping that up, and that'll be going up on the webpage shortly. And then it's just a matter of getting to town meeting on May 1st and hoping for good weather. But the warrant, as you can see in the articles that you reviewed, there's not a lot of extraneous or unusual articles this year. It's it's basic budgets, capital budgets, community preservation, and then zoning. If anything's going to generate any discussion, as usual, it's more likely will be the zoning articles. So I think we're in good shape. Again, we just want to make sure that everybody has May 1st at 9 a.m. at the high school football field in your calendar. So we're going to have the same setup as before. So the head table will have the chairman or the acting chair at that table to be able to relay the votes and the recommendations of the committee. If there's more discussion, there are microphones in the aisle if committee members feel like they need to comment. But in terms of just trying to keep it manageable, we're going to have the same setup that we did last year. My recommendation is that the committee does sit together so that you can find each other, and if there's need for a discussion, or if one of you or more of you want to comment on anything that takes place, that you are able to do so. So I don't know if anybody has any questions regarding town meeting or the process moving forward. I'm happy to answer them, but basically with your votes this evening, the work is concluded for this cycle, pending town meeting, approval and of all the budgets and everything. We will, as always, have a June meeting of this committee to deal with any last year-end transfers that are necessary. I did also want to update you with regard to your appropriation committee emergency reserve fund that you have. As you remember, in fiscal 21, the year we're in right now, we did increase the amount in that account. It's typically $175,000 to deal with unanticipated, unforeseen circumstances. More often than not, those funds are used to deal with the impact of storms, snow and ice overdrafts. We've used it to deal with a little bit of mold remediation in the schools a couple of years ago. We've used it to deal with some unexpected special education costs. But we increased that from 175 to 375,000. But sitting here today, we're not going to need any of it for unemployment, and I'm not anticipating. We don't have the final numbers. We are overdrawn a little bit on the snow and ice based on the last round of storms that we have, but I haven't gotten those final numbers from the DPW director. But the good news is, by and large, the vast majority of that $375,000, which was appropriated from free cash, is going to close out to free cash at the end of fiscal 21, unless, we run into some unforeseen circumstance between now and June 30th. Because we saw the CARES Act funding, and because we are going to see the American Rescue Plan Act funding from the federal government, that took care of a lot of the things that we were worried about. Had we not received those federal funds, we may have tapped into, the reserve account to pay for things like ongoing testing at the schools so that they're able to be open. But we've been able to use the federal coronavirus CARES Act funding for that. So right now, I'm not anticipating a need for another meeting until year end for you guys after town meeting, just so you know. But at this point, again, we're in pretty good shape financially, and barring any unforeseen circumstances between now and June 30th, I don't think we're going to need much, if any, of that emergency reserve account that you are responsible for and the custodian of. So that's my update. And unless anybody has any questions, I don't have anything else for you this evening.
Okay, the only thing, just to remember, we have the town meeting coming up, but because it's early in the morning and it will be outside, we will not have our usual pre-town meeting of the Appropriations Committee like we usually do. So the next time we see each other will be at the actual town meeting. So I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting.
Where's Janice?
Bob made a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Janice Height made a second. So motion has been made and seconded to adjourn tonight's meeting. Does anyone have any comments or objections? Hearing none, I will take a roll call vote. All in favor, please say aye. George Brinkle,
Aye.
Bob D'Amico.
Aye.
Janice Height.
Aye.
She must be shrunk. Wait, you keep her under the desk there?
She's right.
Oh,
No,
all right.
Ah.
She just moves around.
And Anthony is still not with us tonight, but we still had a quorum for this evening's meeting. And myself, acting chair, Rick Niebuhr, aye. So with that, the motion has been made, seconded, and approved unanimously to adjourn tonight's meeting. So it is 7:27. I will adjourn our meeting at that time.